low chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Ready to take control of your weight with real medical support? At Renew Specialty Group, we offer semaglutide, tirzepatide, and now retatrutide with complimentary consultations, personalized plans, and real results. Visit RenewHealthWellnessNC.com. Your transformation starts here.
Don't miss the boat. Don't miss the boat, baby. Shop LKN Local for the best lake apparel, home decor, and gift ideas. Locally loved, made, and delivered right to your door. For the love of the lake, shop LKN-local.com today.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Hello, Lake Norman. Cornelius, Mayor Woody Washam here with my co-host. I've got a great co-host today, and that would be Commissioner Robbie Carney. Robbie, so good to have you, buddy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah,
Good morning. Good morning.
We're going to make it click today. We have a lot of fun when we do this, and it's going to be some great information that we're going to share about what's going on about our town today, and it's a long list of stuff, so we're not without very important things to talk about. But, Robbie, give us your concept of what's going on in the town of Cornelius. Just run down the things that you think is important that
Sure.
we have going on right now. It's a long list, and then I'll add to that once you get down your list.
Yeah, that might be the hardest
It's a
question
long
you've asked
list.
today. Yeah,
It
it's
is.
almost like where to begin whenever you say something like that.
Exactly.
So, first, we're well underway with a downtown master plan.
Right.
I don't, I hope our community, our residents understand the significance of that and what that's going to mean as far as strategic planning and really creating vibrancy in our downtown for the future. We've got our continued contribution to Smithville and what we've done for that community as a partner. And then, like, when I stop and think about it, it's just a machine of activity that's going on relative to transportation projects. And you and I could spend a couple hours talking through all the details and what all's taking place there, but that's certainly important. One of the biggest things, let me say this, because this is the thing I don't know that gets touched on enough. And it's because it doesn't have it. I would say it doesn't have the structure quite yet that I want for it to. But our work in economic development, I know,
It's exciting.
yeah, I know, and we've had past electeds or through your leadership in large part that have focused on strategic planning, land use planning. But now we're really starting to put together a definition of why. Why do we want to move in this direction? Where are we today? And why do we want to move in this direction? And what does that mean from like a tactical action plan? That's really the thing that I don't think our residents are probably hearing too much about.
Exactly.
But that's coming. And that's going to be a big deal for us because it's really going to help us out in a lot of ways. And I know, that's something that we can certainly
Exactly.
get into.
And the one thing that I've continued to learn year after year, I've done this, and I know you know it well because you've always done a good job with it, is you got to have a plan.
Mhm.
You really have to sit back and create a plan. It takes time, but it's important. Just like our downtown master plan, you've got to know where you want to go, as you travel the journey to get there. Same with economic development. We had a good economic development, process in place, but we needed to start all over and tear it down so we could be a model child for really the country.
Mhm.
And, with you on board as a commissioner, there was no better time to do it under your guidance and your leadership because you know how to do this because you've run those kind of organizations in the past. And that's a really good feeling to me. So if we don't knock that one dead right now, we're missing that opportunity. And this next 2 years, that's going to be a priority for us, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely. I would say a couple things. I mean, this is my first term, and I learned a lot. For as much as I walked in, having this experience of working with elected leaders, through all my years of economic development, I learned a lot from working with, our Cornelius staff and my fellow electeds about ways in which we really need to be focusing economic development. And I was a little bit surprised in some ways of how much we didn't know. I mean, and that goes back to just the Lake Norman region, I think at times has been just a victim of their own success. We've had so much interest from so many different markets just because we are a lakefront community with between Charlotte, the airport, the interstate, all these things make us just naturally attractive. But knowing how to actually, I don't want to say control, that might be a strong word to use, but knowing how we can maneuver development so that it really, really means quality of life for our residents. That was the area that I've been really trying to beat that drum behind closed doors. You've seen it, you've heard it.
Exactly. And you know what? We're in the same setting of being geographically impaired almost with our setting. We've got Lake Norman on one side of us. We've got Huntersville on another side. We've got Davidson on yet the third side. And, we're constricted as to how much we can grow, number one. And number two, we don't have much land left. We don't have those opportunities left. And that's why it's so critically important to us and to you, I think, to get it right. We've got to get it right every opportunity we get. So that's a real mainstay of our future, I think, as we work through it. We may see the evolution of our downtown. I believe we will. But we're also going to see the evolution of things like West Catawba Avenue. We really got some opportunities there, don't we?
Yeah, we really do. And I think I want to touch on what you said because I thought it was so important. We are, I would say, the responsibility that Cornelius and its leaders have to how we develop is more difficult, more challenging because we are so limited, because we have so many limited areas that we can grow, and we're in many areas we're kind of built out. So that means that it's not like, this greenfield community where you can just kind of start dreaming, and then if you make a strategic development mistake, oh, well, it's okay. We got more land to undeveloped. We got more areas. We can't do that. It's harder in Cornelius. It actually takes more expertise, more strategic planning, more thought leadership as far as how we grow, so that because everything that we do as a community is going to have genuine consequences, either for the positive or the negative. So you hit it right on the head. We have to get it right. We have to be very, very strategic about each and every move that we make moving forward because we're so limited. West Catawba, lots of opportunities. I mean, there really are. There's a lot of opportunities of how we can evolve that entire corridor to not only be a place of vibrancy where people can live, work, and play, but of balance too. That's so important. You and I talk about that all the time. That's one of the reasons why I ran, and I don't mind saying that it was a wonderful conversation between you and I that we had. That one of the things that we basically said is we are a community that has had so much positive activity as far as residential development, and that's because of what a wonderful place we are. We have to reestablish balance, and balance means having all of those things, being able to live, work, and play within a community. And so that's
exactly. And actually, folks, I had him handcuffed to run that that famous night where we, I think he made that pretty serious but final decision. And we're going to talk about in our next little segment the challenges of being a elected official anywhere. And I think that will be interesting for folks to hear. So this is Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam with Commissioner Robbie Carney, and we will be right back in just a minute.
More About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam, coming up on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
To be honest with you, we've just been downright spoiled over the last several days with our beautiful weather. Cool mornings, comfy afternoons. It's going to continue. Partly cloudy. We're into the low 80s this afternoon, down around 60 tonight. Mid-80s and dry for your Friday. Heading into the Labor Day weekend, we'll hover right there in the low to mid-80s with a low chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm. That's your forecast From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. On Thursday, August 28th, the 500 Club in Statesville presents the Thirsty Thursday tournament at 5:30 p.m. and wine tasting at 6. Click on the 500 Club online for more information on golf lessons, club memberships, wine tasting, tournaments, and tee times. Rocky Lynn performs Friday night on the Plaza at Birkdale Village in Huntersville. The free Live Under the Oaks outdoor concert series powered by Waves Entertainment begins at 6 p.m. Grab your friends and your chairs for the Rocky Lynn concert Friday at Birkdale Village. The Iredell County Fair begins Friday at the Fairgrounds in Troutman and continues through September 6th. The Statesville Kiwanis Club features carnival rides for all ages, competitive 4-H exhibits, animal shows, fireworks on Labor Day, and more. Visit IredellFair.com for more information on hours, tickets, entertainment, and daily schedules. The Iredell County Fair begins Friday at the Fairgrounds in Troutman. See the top riders from the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship on Saturday, September 6th as they compete on a custom-built course at ZMAX Dragway. The playoff opener features a two-moto format for the 450cc class and 250cc class, promising plenty of drama and excitement from the moment the gates drop. Click on CharlotteMotorspeedway.com for tickets, a track map, and information on other 2025 events. Mark your calendars. Green Jeans Consignment returns to Concord September 9th to 14th at 601 Milestone Venue. Shop boutique finds, consign your closet, and feel beautiful on a budget. Details at greenjeanssale.com. Stay up to date and find out about local events, job opportunities, real estate information, and more. Visit liveworkplaylkn.com and sign up for the weekly newsletter. That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
Swing for hope at the Next Chapter Station Golf Classic on September 22nd at the 500 Club in Statesville to help bring hope and comfort to children fighting cancer. Your support helps us deliver the book Luke and the Lost Bell to 1,000 hospitals. For more information, visit nextchapterstation.org.
Call now to speak with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam at 844-STUDIO-4. It's About Town on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
And we're back. Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam here with my co-host, the famous and fantastic Commissioner Robbie Carney. Robbie, you know, we were just talking about the toughness of these jobs, and I'm mainly talking to you because you are a dad living here in town with your wife and 2 children, and the sacrifices you have to make to do this job for us, and you do awesome job is pretty great sometimes. And I know you have to make some choices, but I think that's good for folks to understand the fact that you have to achieve a balance. So
Yes.
what is your theory and your I guess your philosophy on doing that? You do a pretty good job with it, but you have to work at it, I bet.
Yeah, it's still into my first term. I would say it's still evolving, and I'm trying to get better at it. I would say there's a couple of rules that I follow. Is that when it's my day job, it's just my day job. I'm focused on my work, which is technology development, a bunch of different things. When it's town related matters, I just want to keep my thoughts very clean, very clear, and I don't try to mix the two. Just because the content switching, and you probably know this, you've lived this for so long now, will drive you crazy and it will wear you out so fast. So I do my very best, to close it up on nights that we don't have meetings or nights that we don't have evening events and things like that. I think that's probably the one thing that most residents don't fully understand. They see us, twice a month, whether we're on TV or we're behind the dais. They don't understand that's probably, that's the easiest part. I mean, I don't want to say easy and oversimplify anything, but it's all the committee meetings. It's all the emails that we get, on a daily basis that we're reading through and we're kind of trying to digest and figure out, all right, how do we either delegate that to the right area? How do we elevate this so that we can actually help out? All of that is, people joke and ask me all the time. They're like, "This is a full-time job." I was like, if you really want to do it right, you have to treat it like a full-time job.
Yeah, and you have to do it right. I mean, the citizens are depending on us.
Mhm.
They supported us, they voted for us, and to halfway do it is just not an option. I
Mhm.
think for this board, and it's certainly not an option for me. But it gets tough sometimes because I'm still a banker, I'm still a church organist,
Mhm.
and I am still the mayor. And now I have taken on this fourth job to run a campaign for
Right. That's
reelection.
right.
And it's truly another job. So
Mhm.
I spend about 30 hours probably a week, some weeks a little bit more, some weeks a little less on my job. And I have to stay on top of everything, absolutely everything, because people expect me to.
Mhm.
And I like doing that. And it's incredible how many balls you have up in the air at one time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
and I have to brag on you because there is not a community event. Yeah, because I know the volume of work behind the scenes. And then whenever you think about all of the events out in the community that you do such amazing, you're always
well,
there.
thank you,
You're
thank you.
always prepared, you're always meeting with the community. If I'm being completely honest, and that's probably the one area that I've had to basically say I don't get to do as much of that as I want, because that's normally time that I'm spending with my children, my wife, or it's time where I'm trying to catch up on my day job. And so, but I don't know how you do it. Honestly, I
Well,
really
thank you.
don't. It's amazing.
Well, I'm one of these people, and I think you probably are too, that enjoy having more to do than you can possibly get done.
Yes.
So that's just kind of the way I am. But it takes some organization, it takes some commitment, it takes some focus, and I have a good spouse that's very understanding too. So that certainly helps us all.
Yeah.
In the meantime, and we had a lot of conversations before I filed for this reelection about, at this point in life, is this part of our mix?
Mhm.
And from my standpoint, and I'm glad you weren't done, but I just wasn't quite done yet.
Yeah.
And I don't know when I'm going to know that I'm done, but I'll know when the right time comes along. And I think it's going to be probably driven by who I can be replaced with. I want
Okay.
to make sure I've got the exact right person to carry us forward. So just saying that was really part of my decision this time to just complete some things that I knew were critical to this community. And we can't even talk about a few of those. I'm just hoping that they can information and news can break before sooner than later.
Yeah. I mean, I think the fact that you decided to run again is a blessing. And I'm making the assumption that you get reelected. I hope and I
Thank
believe
you.
that you
I
will.
hope so.
Um, I think we are at such a critical point at in Cornelius, that what we do, I would say, in the next 2, 4, 6 years are really going to determine outcomes for the next 20 or 30 years. And I think most electeds will say that whenever it comes campaign time and things like, but I really do mean whenever you think about what's recently come online with the Kane Center, downtown redevelopment, the way in which we're trying to focus on economic development, strategic planning, balance, transportation projects. These are things that have been a long time coming and are now coming online, and they enable us to do really neat, new, and innovative things that we've never had the chance to before.
Right.
And unless we have great leadership at the helm, the only way I can say is you can mess it up too. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really, really easy
No doubt.
to make bad mistakes. And I got to see that in economic development. I would watch boards of elected leaders, as well as staff too. It's a whole team. It's a massive team. And I would watch them come and walk in on the shoulders of work of others that have slaved to do great things for their community for years. And I've watched them destroy it in very, very short periods of time. It can happen. It does happen. I've seen it. And I was, the economic developer that was basically saying, hey guys, you don't fully understand the sacrifice and the work that it's taken to get us here. And now you guys are willing to ruin and destroy a lot of that very, very quickly if you start making some of these decisions. So I think leadership now is going to be incredibly important in these near-term years.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. This is really an interesting job as far as I'm concerned. My job, and certainly yours is too. But the mayor doesn't vote.
That's right.
It's really amazing that the mayor doesn't vote. So all these buildings you see popping up around this town, some people get a little upset about that, but the mayor doesn't vote.
Mm-hmm.
And I can break a tie if that ever occurs.
Mm-hmm.
With 5 commissioners, it's pretty unlikely, but I will say that I have voted twice in 8 years as mayor, twice.
Right.
That's not a lot. It really isn't. And, one was on a very thoughtful project down on Bailey Road that we won't get into the details of because that ship has sailed now.
Mm-hmm.
But, that was one, and it just didn't fit the objectives I think that our town had at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to do the hard thing to, get it right. We really did. So, as we move forward and I guess think through the critical things that will make our town the best it could be, it's kind of tough. You don't know what direction to turn in. So, I think we've got to have a good and vibrant downtown. Let's talk about roads a little bit, because if I walk outside of this studio and ask any given citizen about what are you doing, why don't we have these roads going on out here on West Catawba and wherever else here in town, what's going on with that? I think we've got some pretty good answers for them these days, don't you?
Yes. Yeah, I think the work we've got underway, but also our attempts to communicate that work is really improved. And I think that's just how Cornelius has grown and evolved. Our staff, as well as the demands of through your leadership, our commissioners. We basically said, hey, listen, we have to really talk to our citizens and let them know what we're working on. But we've got a lot of projects coming. Wayne Herron, who is our deputy town manager, did such a phenomenal job earlier in this week, basically saying, if Lake Norman knew, and our citizens knew how much road dollars we have coming our way for, a community of 31,000, that we are light years ahead of everybody else. So now it's just, between improving West Catawba, we're actively improving, the eastern side of Catawba, as well as a couple other areas. One of the biggest things that people don't understand is all the dynamics that have to play. Like, for instance, land acquisition.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't do a single thing. First off, from the time that you actually have a need for a road project, at the time that it's hit it's a point of now a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically one decade that it takes before you can actually get that project going. And then from the land acquisition, that's what takes forever is DOT having to acquire all that right away.
Exactly.
And you can't bid it. You can't do anything until you've acquired all that necessary land. And that's even West Catawba. I think that the number is we still have 7 pieces of property left.
Exactly. We're getting close.
Yep.
We're really getting close. But 2 things you got to do is that, and you've got to move the utilities back.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's harder than it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
It really is harder than it sounds. We'll talk about roads quite a bit.
Okay, awesome.
At the rest of this conversation. But for right now, we're going to take a break. And Commissioner Robbie Carney and me, Mayor Woody Washam, will be right back in just a couple of minutes.
More About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam. Coming up on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
To be honest with you, we've just been downright spoiled over the last several days with our beautiful weather. Cool mornings, comfy afternoons. It's going to continue. Partly cloudy. We're into the low 80s this afternoon, down around 60 tonight. Mid-80s and dry for your Friday. Heading into the Labor Day weekend, we'll hover right there in the low to mid-80s. with a low chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Exciting news at Randy Marion Ford Lincoln in Statesville. We have opened a separate used car department. That's right, we have over 300 pre-owned vehicles on Folger Drive. That's right across the interstate from the main lot. I tell you, better to serve you with higher quality, higher quantity, king of price deals on pre-owned vehicle. Come see us today at our new location, 1011 Folger Drive, right across the interstate from the main showroom. You can't miss us. And as always, king of price, king of deals, you can't beat Randy Marion in Statesville.
With 5 area locations, Desco is your go-to resource for electrical supplies. Albemarle, Mooresville, Salisbury, Statesville, and Lexington. No matter where the job takes you, you're sure to be close to a Desco. Shop now at DescoInc.com.
How's your AC holding up? When it's this hot, it can tax your system. Don't wait for a breakdown on the hottest days of the year. Call Horn Heating and Air Conditioning for a seasonal tune-up today. Welcome home to the feeling of visit hornhvac.com.
Busy? Tired? Not into big gyms? Try 20 minutes twice a week at The Exercise Coach. Private, tech-driven workouts tailored for you. Across from Birkdale Village, serving the 50-plus community for over 5 years. Sign up for 2 free sessions at exercisecoach.com/Huntersville today.
Yeehaw for rodeo season at Harrison's, the home of work, western, and wow. Whether you compete or cheer from the stands, Harrison has the looks to help you wow the crowd. Get western classics and the latest styles from Harriet, Cinch, Rock and Roll Denim, and Wrangler. Find us in Mooresville.
Let's talk about tomorrow for a minute. Chances are, someday, you're going to want to retire. And even though you'll stop working, you'll never want to stop achieving. You'll want to explore new ventures when you retire. You'll want to see and experience new things because you'll finally have the time to do it. But to get there, you'll need a financial strategy. Eileen Stoner at Morgan Stanley can help. Eileen is a financial advisor, and she has more than 28 years of experience. Eileen can help you create a strategy based on how you want to live now and once you retire. She'll work with you and your attorney toward your goals like estate planning and leaving a legacy. And the great thing is, she's right here in Lake Norman. To make an appointment with Eileen, call 704-896-9138. That's 704-896-9138. Meet with Eileen today to talk about your future. Because when you stop working, your retirement income is going to have to work for you. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, Morgan Stanley. Its affiliates and Morgan Stanley Financial Advisors do not provide tax or legal advice. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC.
I'll be honest, I wanted to be a diva. Why feel guilty? Let me help you be a diva for a few hours a week. Yes, I'm Andrea, owner of Spotless Cleaning. Our guarantee? It is very special. If you're unhappy, we'll do it again. Still unhappy? Your fee is donated to a charity of your choice. The Docinho de Coco Guarantee. To honor my grandparents, who taught me both a spotless house and time to live life big are important. Spotless Cleaning and C.com.
Kane Center for the Arts. We're more than a venue. We're the heart of creativity in the Lake Norman region, bringing exceptional visual arts, performing arts, and unforgettable gallery experiences to our community. Discover the difference. kanearts.org.
24/7 worldwide, non-stop.
WSIC.
Local starts here.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Walgreens is now a private company. Its acquisition by equity firm Sycamore Partners is complete and is being split up. Walgreens and Duane Reade drugstores will be one company. Its other businesses, including physician network Village MD and home health company CareCentrix, will operate independently. After being hired away from Rihanna's lingerie brand, Victoria's Secret's new CEO Hillary Super is doing a super job. At least that's Wall Street's take. Shares of the chain are up 5%. As Victoria's posts stronger than forecast sales for the just-finished quarter and hikes its profit outlook, suggesting its turnaround effort is working. Best Buy says its sales rose last quarter. That's a big deal because it's the first time that's happened in 3 years, but it warns tariffs will prove a drag on its business heading into the holiday shopping season. Best Buy shares are down. On Wall Street, the main indexes are splitting it right now. Dow losing almost 0.25%, NASDAQ gaining 0.25%, and after yesterday's all-time high, the S&P is little changed. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio.
The button pushing stops here.
WSIC. Local starts here.
About Town continues now. Here's your host, Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam, on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
All right. This is Commissioner Robert Carney here with Mayor Woody Washam. I am the co-host, so I get to kick off this segment. And first, I cannot believe we didn't start here. I have to wish our mayor, Woody Washam, a very happy birthday.
Wow, you found out. How'd you find that out?
The secret is out.
I have been sitting on that information here, so goodness, I tell you what, you must be on Facebook or something.
Yeah, you know.
Something like that.
I was to say the town commissioners, basically, we all were texting each other, letting each other know that it was your birthday. So a big happy birthday. This is wonderful. In fact, you even still made the time to come and speak with me.
I did. I love doing this. I love talking to our citizens and love talking to you. And we come up with some good stuff here, just pinging things back and forth with each other. Many times we've done that. So thank you, Ravi. I really appreciate that. It's a big day, and so I'm gonna end it up with a little celebration too, I think.
Awesome. I would sing you happy birthday, but I'm afraid we will lose listeners.
Well, we don't want to do that. Once they hear
my voice, everybody will change the station. We don't want that. So I'll spare y'all.
I certainly appreciate you actually sparing us on that, because that may affect you in the election.
Yeah,
we don't want to do that by any means. Absolutely don't mean to do that at all. So anyway, another thing that we hear a lot about, if I were walking out the door of this studio, be a couple of things from citizens. We already talked about roads.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know that we said this number, but a fact of the matter related to roads is we do have $500 million coming to this community. $500 million. $500 million coming to this community to improve our road structure and our infrastructure in this town, and I am really, really excited about that. And that doesn't even count what the town of Cornelius is spending on it. Look at the local town projects has made such a difference, in our town, and more coming with that too. So, we have the things that come to the top of my mind are, the work that we've done at 115 and Bailey Road.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that has tremendously helped. The town paid for that. We paid for the improvement in safety on Jatun Road Extension and Sefton. That was critically important. So I'm really proud of that. And, I know that we as elected officials cannot talk about the transit tax that's coming up. It's going to be on our ballot. We can't actually talk negatively or positively, endorse, not endorse. We can't take a position on it publicly. Only thing that I think we can say is if that were to pass, the town of Cornelius would get almost $6 million annually, every year after year, to improve our infrastructure and to complete road projects and to do things. And, I don't know if it'll pass or not, but all I can say is there are benefits to it. And there you have it. That's certainly one of it. Don't you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, I'll just say, whenever you have the amount of road projects that Cornelius has funded or partially funded in partnership with NCDOT, and we have the lowest tax rate in Mecklenburg
What about
County.
that? That's noteworthy, isn't it?
It really is, because I have had people from the community that's come out and be like, just raise taxes. Just raise taxes. I was like, guys, you want to be strategic about everything you do. Yes, could the community I can be cavalier and say, yeah, of course we could. We're a very affluent town. Our average wage, our average salary, our average home value, we certainly could. But wouldn't it be better to be the shining example of how you really leverage resources in the best way for a community? And I think that's exactly what we're trying to showcase to the community, is that we could do that, or we could be smarter with the taxpayers' resources, smarter than anybody else, and leverage those dollars in really, really intelligent ways that do a lot with that. So I just wanted to point that out, that it's we are not one of the tax-heavy communities. We are the lightest, and we're getting all of these projects done. Some of them that we have to fund in partnership with NCDOT. That's a really important thing. And then to your next statement, and hopefully I'm saying this correctly and not showing favoritism one way or another. But if indeed the transit tax passes, the future of having a multimodal transportation option in the distant future certainly has its own value. But today, having $6 million of new revenue to deploy for road and transportation infrastructure projects would be substantial, especially whenever you look at how much we're already putting into roads and transportation. To have those new revenues coming in for us to be able to do that, it would be. And it's not the other thing that I think is important to note is it wouldn't be just Cornelius, because we're not, we're all connected. You talk about this all the time. Davidson would also have these types of resources. Huntersville, Cornelius, all of us together would now have the opportunity to strategically deploy these funds to take down some of these big, arduous projects that connect the three of us together.
We're talking about the potential of $100 million coming to North Mecklenburg, Huntersville, Davidson, and Cornelius over the next 5 years. $100 million. Well, you can build a lot of roads.
You can build a lot of roads
for a lot of years on that particular amount of money. And, it could be a game changer if this were to pass. I wish I could tell you the experiences that I've been through over the past 5 years in taking this from nothing now to the state legislature based on an agreement which has all sorts of guardrails in it, all sorts of guardrails. What happened before, 25 years ago with a half-cent tax won't happen. It can't happen again. That will not happen. And, we really will move the needle, I think, in many ways. I sit here and I wonder, talking about transit itself, what will it be? It'll take probably 8 to 10 years to get the red line here. That's about what we're told, which takes a lot of engineering and just a lot of backroom work to get us to that particular point. But, what would this community be like in our downtown sectors, up and down Highway 115, if we didn't have that mode of transportation as an opportunity for folks to get to work? Say you live in Charlotte, you work at Lowe's. That's getting you pretty close to Lowe's, hopefully one day. That's a good reason for, Lowe's to add additional jobs maybe and give our citizens better opportunities in economic development to move that needle.
Sure.
So, I was around Mooresville when Lowe's came to Mooresville. That was a big day. A little before your time, but a big day for us. And but you certainly came right behind it and nurtured it big time.
Well, and to your point exactly, using Lowe's as an example, one of the reasons why they have their tech center in South End is because they've been pretty open and said, hey, listen, talent acquisition, workforce development and talent acquisition in that Mooresville South Iredell campus is difficult. Right. This is going to enable us to be able to leverage and capture that talent. You start thinking about, potential rail option that's there. It starts to change that dynamic. And that's why you and I have talked about this, and thank you so much for your leadership. We've talked about if this does occur, how good we have to be at our strategic planning to ensure that this is something that is a genuine benefit to our community is going to be critically important. Because you're going to see a whole new gold rush of development activity that's going to try to get into Cornelius in the area.
Exactly. We
have to manage that.
We've got to plan around that. Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam with Robbie Carney. We'll be right back.
Don't go anywhere. We'll return with more of Mayor Woody Washam and About Town in just a moment on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
To be honest with you, we've just been downright spoiled over the last several days with our beautiful weather. Cool mornings, comfy afternoons. It's going to continue. Partly cloudy. We're into the low 80s this afternoon, down around 60 tonight. Mid-80s and dry for your Friday. Heading into the Labor Day weekend, we'll hover right there in the low to mid-80s with a low chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. On Thursday, August 28th, the 500 Club in Statesville presents the Thirsty Thursday tournament at 5:30 p.m. and wine tasting at 6. Click on the 500 Club online for more information on golf lessons, club memberships, wine tasting, tournaments, and tee times. Rocky Lynn performs Friday night on the Plaza at Birkdale Village in Huntersville. The free Live Under the Oaks outdoor concert series powered by Waves Entertainment begins at 6 p.m. Grab your friends and your chairs for the Rocky Lynn concert Friday at Birkdale Village. The Iredell County Fair begins Friday at the Fairgrounds in Troutman and continues through September 6th. The Statesville Kiwanis Club features carnival rides for all ages, competitive 4-H exhibits, animal shows, fireworks on Labor Day, and more. Visit IredellFair.com for more information on hours, tickets, entertainment, and daily schedules. The Iredell County Fair begins Friday at the Fairgrounds in Troutman. See the top riders from the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship on Saturday, September 6th, as they compete on a custom-built course at ZMAX Dragway. The playoff opener features a two-moto format for the 450cc class and 250cc class, promising plenty of drama and excitement from the moment the gates drop. Click on CharlotteMotorspeedway.com for tickets, a track map, and information on other 2025 events. Mark your calendars. Green Jeans Consignment returns to Concord September 9th to 14th at 601 Milestone Venue. Shop boutique finds, consign your closet, and feel beautiful on a budget. Details at greenjeansale.com. Stay up to date and find out about local events, job opportunities, real estate information, and more. Visit liveworkplaylkn.com and sign up for the weekly newsletter. That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
Hello, everyone. This is Joshua Doby, president of North Main Financial Group. At North Main Financial Group, we move to where you need us: investment management, insurance planning, and estate strategies. No two people are the same, so we customize our planning based upon your needs. Reach out to us at northmainfinancial.com. That's northmainfinancial.com.
Now, more About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
And we're back. Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam right here with Commissioner Robbie Carney. It's just a pleasure to be with Robbie today and talk about some of the great things going on in the town of Cornelius and the great things we've got to look forward to down the road. One of the neat stories to tell, we've got a couple neat stories to tell, but I want to talk about our great public safety efforts in the town of Cornelius. And I think I'll start with the fact that we're transitioning our fire department. That's such a big step for us. It really is. It's a hard step for us, but there's not an option.
That's right.
Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And it's a very important step. It's an expensive step. So for how we do it, how we manage it, is very delicate is the best way I can think to put it. But the one thing that I appreciated coming on the board was both the way in which it's being handled. It's being brought on in a multi-year plan. And we've had, I've had community members that have come out and said, you should do this faster, this a lot faster. And each time I brought that back to Andrew, I brought that to our chief Barbie. They've said, no, we're doing this so that this is a system and process that is clean and that works. They're like, if you rush this, there's mistakes will be made, and those mistakes can be very, very expensive. So I appreciate their thought leadership.
I do too. And it has something to do with culture. There's a culture change here as it transitions into the town. But The old model, we rode that horse for many years, and it worked great. We've always had good fire departments and good, the leadership has been awesome. I've known the fire chiefs, many of them over the years, and certainly since I've been elected, we've had several really, really great ones, including Chief Barbie's father a few years ago. He kind of started my political career and taught me a lot about the fire service, but we are doing it right, and we listen to the experts, and that's why it's important every step of the way, that you get the experts involved and give you the leadership and guidance that you need to see it through in a world-class way. That's what it's about. I've heard some folks say, well, why are you spending this much money on a facility study, or why did you spend this money on a downtown master plan? Well, we've got the best of the best doing it. We threw it out there and interviewed numbers of folks to do both of those projects. And matter of fact, that'll be one item on our agenda as far as the facility study this coming Monday. So I'm looking forward to getting that rolling, because we've got to look at our facilities. We have a police department that is wall-to-wall people. It's grown over the years. The building was built in the very early 90s, and we doubled, if not tripled, the number of officers we've got in this town. I remember when we had one, and that goes back a couple of years, and we're not going to talk about my birthday anymore, so it does go back a couple of years. But I'm really pleased with that plan, and I think we can't brag on our police department enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a large department. They'll have some challenges once in a while, but we've got some great leadership going on there. So I know you're proud of it.
Yeah, I think, to your point, has there been a couple bumps along the way? There have, and I think one of the things that allows both the staff management as well as our electeds and yourself, all of us, to stop, make sure, kind of take a look and see if we've got the right pieces in place, we've got the right culture, we've got the right people doing the right things, and every time we've done that, we've really stopped to kind of take a look. I've always been pleased with what I've seen. And when you're talking about facilities, going back to that, there's a office in police headquarters that's smaller than the room that you and I are in, that they've got 4 detectives working. And so whenever I was getting a tour of the facility, I saw 4 special detectives that were all working in, a room smaller than this,
doing tedious jobs.
Very some of the some of the cases that they were working on were, so really, it's just really incredible stuff that some of those guys are doing each day. But no complaints. They're like, all right, we figured it out. But we realize that facility space is of critical importance. You need to make sure that you're providing assets in general, whether it's space, whether it's equipment, whether it's vehicles. That's just an ongoing maintenance thing that you constantly have to focus on. So I couldn't be more pleased with our police and fire. They really, again, great leadership. Great leadership from what Andrew and his team do, our town manager.
Exactly.
And the leadership and the culture that they've developed. It really does. There is an X factor that exists. And I've got to see that, working other communities and things. You can see when communities are anemic, when something's not right. There's a smell test that you constantly have when you're like, this doesn't look the way it's supposed to. And for some reason, I can tell when I'm getting fed something. That does not, one of the things that I've loved and I've been so pleased with in Cornelius is it just doesn't exist. I say, and like I said, we're kind of pencils down, eyes down, looking into all of these things. That's kind of our job and responsibility, and it's amazing what we see.
Well, it starts with the board, and one of my philosophies over 4 terms now, and hopefully 5, is that we have to show them good examples, and we really have to do that because they watch us. Our employees watch us. They depend on us to set a good example, and we have to build a good team too. And I'm proud of the fact that we have done that over almost every term. This is a great group of commissioners to work with. 4 of them are running again. You're one of them, and I am so pleased with that. I really am, and I hope I get to work with them again. And a former commissioner, Colin Furcht, is running again for the board. So that will give us an incredible board going forward that is up to date, that will hit the ground running on day one. And, that makes a difference with these 2-year terms. And, citizens have spoken on that. We may talk about it some more, but citizens have spoke on that. They voted to continue the 2-year terms. And, with that, we've got to have some continuity in our leadership of the town of Cornelius. We're the board of directors.
That's
I
right.
just happen to be chairman of the board, but we're the board of directors, and we've got to set the example. And that's why I'm so pleased. It costs a little money for us to go off-site and have a wonderful retreat every year, but you've got to do things like that. I mean, we'll go from 8 in the morning till 12:30, 1 o'clock in the next morning.
That's right.
Getting our work done, and I don't begrudge any nickel that we spend doing that. It's critically important that we have those conversations, and that contributes so significantly to the team building efforts that we put forward and need to do to set the example that we have to set to have the kind of staff that we have in place today to serve the citizens. So it goes all the way down to the citizens.
That's right.
That's what makes it important, and that's what leadership's all about.
That's right.
It really is.
When staff sees us, and anybody, our retreats are televised. So if anybody wants to, go through that experience with us, they're absolutely welcome to. But I doubt most people do. I mean, I've looked at kind of the viewership of that. It's pretty light, but we go to, whenever you think about, police, fire, parks, rec, sanitation, utilities, roads, we go to such a granular depth, and we have to retreat to do that, because if you're trying to toss at me as once again a family man with 2 young kids and a wife, you put me in Cornelius, there's going to be a time where mom is going to call and say, "Hey, I need you to scoop up the kid. I need you to," the only way for us to have that clean level of thought where we can really dig in is for us to basically go off site for a moment, sit there and just really dig into the work so that we can make sure that we've got all the right things in the right place.
Exactly. It's gone very well. And another thing I want to mention before we run out of time today is our Parks and Rec program. We've got some critical decisions to make these next couple of years related to that. Well, citizens passed a $20 million bond referendum to support Parks and Rec. We got to spend that in the right way to create green space, lots more green space for this town because our citizens want it. Finish up our greenway, our greenway system to complete that emerald necklace, which it's 85% complete. When I started as an elected official, it was about 30 or 40. And so we've come a long way with it, but we've got to continue getting that done. That's something that our citizens networks love, and we've got to get that right. So, and then maintaining our parks. We've got to maintain the parks we have. We have awesome parks, but you've got to keep it up. You've actually got to keep it up. So, Robbie, we just got a couple seconds left almost. What did I leave out today from your standpoint? It's a long list, isn't it?
Your first statement was like the list. I was like, where to begin? No, I think we could do this for another couple shows just to get into all the things that we've got.
We may do that.
We can. I was to say, we love this stuff. We're gluttons for punishment, so we love to serve in this capacity. So yeah, we absolutely can do that.
So it's a pleasure to be with you today, Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam, with my co-host, Commissioner Robbie Carney. We'll do this again, Robbie, one day, but thank you so much for being with us and taking your time. We will see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening today, folks. Thank you.
Serving you better than ever before. 105.9, 100.7, WSIC, Statesville, Mooresville, North Charlotte.